Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Ooh, hello there and welcome. It's Monday. It's, oh my God, it's September 10th.
The 10th.
The 10th. That means, but that's fraught now because it means tomorrow, September 11th.
I know. Ugly. Just gotta get through it.
That's Jeanne Marie Laskas. You're going to be hearing a lot about her. There was a review of her book in the Sunday Post-Gazette yesterday. There's going to be a profile of you in the Post-Gazette later in the week. Mm-hmm. She's got her latest book out, Hidden America, and it's getting great reviews. And I'm happy to call her friend.
Hi, Lynn. You're my friend.
And she's also, I want to get the title right, she is also the director of the writing program at the University of Pittsburgh. And you see her writing in the doctor's office. That's where I see some of it.
Yeah, but not GQ so much in doctor's office?
Well, not GQ, no, but I see you
That's
then
true.
in Reader's Digest. Mm-hmm. What is that? Ask
Ask Laskas. You get a problem, I'm going to answer for you. So, you fire away.
Jeez.
That's not really my writing exactly. That's more of a sport. It's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah. It's different obviously from the work in here.
So, okay. So, yeah, that's not like what she really does. But that's, and then I see you in girly magazines sometimes.
Sometimes.
Ladies' Home Journal.
Sometimes.
Stuff like that. But your biggies are GQ and
Esquire, Smithsonian.
Esquire, yabba. And coming soon to the New York Times Sunday Magazine and late of the Washington Post.
That's correct.
You've gotten around. Well, why did you drop that column? Did it run its course?
Well, if you figure 14 years, every single week writing about yourself, if you're not sick of it by then, there was really something wrong with you. And I honestly, I loved it. It was almost like a diary, and I had a great audience that was, we were all together. They knew Betty. Then when Betty died, that's my dog, they knew, when I got married, they knew my children. They went to China with me to adopt. It was really a
community.
Family. It really was wonderful.
I totally understand that because I feel that way about my audience.
Similar.
Right.
But then with your audience, you get to sort of talk
back and
You're
forth.
not having to think, okay, now what do I write this week? Like what happened to me that anybody would possibly be interested in? And that's great, but things don't happen every week that anybody would be interested in. You know this. And so you go about your life like, okay.
But then don't you feel like you're dredging around in your friendships, your marriage, your
people's
children's
dating lives. I'm like, can I write about that, BK? This man you want to go out with? Can I write about it? You could say no. Please say no if you don't want me to write about you.
But
so
I bet there's that would get sticky.
Well, and eventually, more to the point, when the girls were getting older, my children were getting older, and I'm starting to write about their lives, which is cute when they're 3, and when they're 5, and all of a sudden they start becoming like real people. So you can't really have them be characters. There's a privacy issue to begin with. Plus, for me, driving up my little dirt road to my farm, thinking, okay, what does this mean? The dirt on my road. Now I have to make something of this. when I stopped finally, the column was like, oh my gosh, I don't even have to think about what this means. I can just drive on my dirt road. It's just a road.
Oh,
I'm just going home. So it was that sort of sense of, I want to now think about other people. You know, and that's what when I started really working on this book, it was like, okay, I'm so sick of myself, as I said in my book proposal. Now, please let me return to my roots and do this kind of
observational.
Work.
What do you call this? I mean, it's immersion. It's observational.
Immersion journalism is one way. Narrative nonfiction, they call it, has a lot of names, but it's really you go immerse yourself in a culture and live with people and write about them, almost as an anthropologist, but you're not scientifically studying them. You're studying them for impressions and getting to know a community.
I was thinking on the way over here that when you read your stuff, you are not, at least you don't appear to be, a judgmental person. You're more open.
It's like that.
Do you think that's
true?
See,
here's how we differ. This is why I could not do this radio show, because I never have opinions right away. I always go, oh, I sort of see that. And then I always go, yeah, I sort of see that too. Like even at a gun store. Like imagine that I could go, I sort of see why you'd want that assault rifle. And then I go,
but
wait a minute. Then I go, wait a minute. No, I don't.
Well,
I go, well, yeah, I sort of do. No, I don't. Like that.
But it's, okay, so is that, maybe that's just empathy.
I think there, maybe, I don't know it's empathy. I don't know. I think it's for my purposes in writing, it's a probably deliberate way of, but I don't think it's just deliberate. I just think it's the way I am. I think it comes from being the youngest in the family, everybody gabbing all the time and having no say.
Isn't that funny? Yeah.
And you had the opposite, right. I know.
Well, no, I was a middle child, but in a very verbal family, but everybody remembers me as not contributing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, there's like stories about what the dinner table looked like, and
I thought you had to contribute.
No, and there was like my brother and my father engaged in all this, and the imitation my brother does of me at the dinner table is this.
Oh, well, we were the same. Okay.
Head down, but obviously soaking it all up. And it took me a long time to figure out what my opinions were, because I had all these strong personalities around me who had them.
Well, this is different. This is it's very similar way I grew up, but for me, what it translated into was finally when I got old enough, I was like, wait a minute, I can talk too.
Right. Wait, I have an opinion. Yeah. I know. People used to say, what's your favorite color? And I would say Kelly green. I didn't even know what Kelly green was. It was what my brother always said.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Exactly. It's a family of sort of loud overachievers.
Yeah.
And what happens to the one who is just really just observing all of it?
Right.
That was sort of a similar role. So you got it, grew up doing this, and I grew
Beware
up
the quiet child.
They have a lot to say.
The quiet child once she opens her mouth. So, Jeanne,
that's funny.
We got to get to your book. Hidden America. Okay, so each chapter is about a different experience you have being immersed with a different group of people or person. And why do you call it Hidden America?
Okay, well, the idea here from the very beginning was, okay, here I am, for example, the first chapter is a coal mine. Here I am down in this coal mine having the thought, holy cow, I can't even believe this exists, and it's right in my backyard, here in western PA. This was a mine in Ohio. And not only did I really know that this still went on, this mining.
There's coal mining.
Yeah, you vaguely know, but you sort of think it's this antiquated, maybe quaint industry. I never really thought about it.
No.
And there I am in this coal mine, and these guys are telling me, listen, sweetheart, every single time you flip on a light switch, you burn a lump of coal. And that connection with my life and how intimately connected I was really to these people doing this work, how much I actually needed them, the work that they were doing, really struck me. And it was like, okay, I'm dependent on these people. So Hidden America, these people are hidden, but they're essential to our lives. They are the people who help make our lives livable, and yet we don't know them. They're strangers to us.
They are the people who keep everything running, rolling, so the truck driver who goods wouldn't get to the market, that we'd have nothing to buy if the truck drivers weren't trucking.
The people who pick our food. Another fine example.
The people, the truly faceless.
People who pick our food. Who are they? It's not quite the question of, okay, let's rehash this argument we're having on the political stage.
About immigration and
right.
Migrant
It's a
workers.
very lively conversation that we're all sort of part of, at least in the periphery. But the one piece of it I never had considered was, okay, well, who are we even talking about? Like, literally who? What do they look like? What do they talk about? Who do they love? What is going on today in a blueberry barren in Maine, where this community is? You get tinier and tinier and tinier until you're in a tent with two guys, and then learning about that culture from the inside out. So I'm not really making any political argument whatsoever. I'm saying, okay, let's get back to who these people even are.
Of all the hidden people you talk about, I found these migrant workers to be truly the most hidden because they themselves seem to be hiding, literally hiding.
Hiding in the shadows in shame. In shame. Well, they're told. They're listening. They're told they're bad. They're told they're illegal. They're told they're criminal. They're criminals. Because they've crossed the ones who are here without documentation. They've crossed our borders illegally. They have to hide. They can't let anyone know they're here. And yet they're doing this work. I mean, you go sit in a restaurant and eat a salad with blueberries on it 2 minutes away from this blueberry barren. It changes the way you eat that. You eat this salad or eat this cereal with your blueberries on it.
Okay. And so when you were in that world, just getting into the slight political thing about it,
sure.
Did you find that they believed that if they didn't come and pick those blueberries and pick the other, that Americans would do it? That are they taking American jobs?
Well, first of all, they don't. They also don't have a political stance on this. They're there for work. They're not doing a public service. They're there to make money to send home to their families. So it's very straightforward, of course.
I'm saying if they weren't there.
But if they weren't there, and what I hear, what they would say to me was, there's a quote in the book from one guy, Noel, okay, look out on these barrens. You see everyone here is brown. There is not one white person here. When I first started here 10 years ago, 15 years ago, there were only a few brown people. But now look, all brown people. This is what he called his group from Mexico. All brown people. What happened was the white people dropped their rakes. We didn't take them. They dropped their rakes. We came and picked them up. The farmers would tell me if these people weren't here, nobody in the community would come out anymore. They used to. It used to be a community effort. You come out when the blueberries are ripe, everybody comes. Mothers, fathers, sons, families. Pick the blueberries, they're ripe. You have to do it now or else they're going to fall and rot. There's no time, do it now. And that does not exist anymore.
What happened?
It's so little money. It's not worth your time. So you can't afford it. You have to go work at McDonald's to make anything. It's just so cheap. So it's us as a consumer. I don't even blame the farmers. The farmers need the stuff picked.
Right.
If nobody in the community is going to do it, what I wonder is, okay, let's say we paid a living wage. Let's say we paid a living wage to agricultural workers in the fields. Well, that is going to trickle up into the cost of food.
And we don't want that.
You and me.
The consumer,
are you going to pay
no.
$40 for a pound of blueberries? No. So we want cheap food. We want cheap goods at our Walmart or any store. We're not going to pay the price of trucking. It's over and over and over and over again. It comes back to us, the consumer.
So we depress the wages.
We do, sure. And the people picking up the slack financially are the workers who come in and do it for nothing because it's all they got. And that's sort of that's a way of not. Well, that's the truth that I found, and it's not blaming farmers. It's not blaming the workers. Certainly, that's in the migrant worker story. That's what bothered me the most. It was like, okay, this situation exists, and we, instead of looking at ourselves, we are blaming these people who are just, in the hot sun raking blueberries, and we hate them. We are angry at them. We blame them. We'd say they're criminals. We want to put them in jail.
For picking our blueberries.
Right. for doing this work that we won't do. So that one is really, that's one you see I get a little excited about. It was a little hard to take.
Did you feel shame?
Oh, sure, I felt shame. I felt shame going and sitting and having dinner with them in their cabin.
Did the impression you give from them, they don't trust, and they didn't trust you, I bet. Did they finally trust you? They don't trust.
They trusted me once they knew I wasn't from immigration. It wasn't like they hated Americans by any means.
No.
They were grateful in a way. But, here's the other little piece of it that surprised me. You hear this story, you think everybody is just trying to live here. They're just escaping the border and they're trying to buy a house or something. Most of the people I talked to on that whole journey were just biding their time, how long they had to stay here to make enough money so that they could go home.
To Mexico.
Yeah, they wanted to go back to their families. They wanted to go back to their villages. No, they weren't, they were poor there, but if they could bring money back, they could live. They didn't want to be here particularly. So,
why would they? Living in the shadows, living like...
It wasn't much of a life. They're living in camps in the shadows, So that was an eye-opener among many, but that certainly was.
Now, let's go to a white-collar job where you spent some time. Air traffic control.
God, I love those guys so much.
Okay, LaGuardia. You're at LaGuardia. And this is, they now have a new tower. They were building it when you were there. Mm-mm. But, I mean, the working conditions were outrageous.
It was so funny.
But, I mean, I couldn't believe what you were telling me. And, in fact, it scared me as somebody who who is in airplanes on occasion. Okay, they're overworked.
Oh.
They're working overtime and 6-day weeks. What job would you not want to be overworked, to be maybe tired, stressed out? I believe that would be an air traffic controller.
I just kept saying to them, thank you for not being insane, people. Thank you for keeping it together. Honestly.
Well, some of them be insane.
The craziness. I mean, it is a very, very stress situation at its best. Just the working conditions. Now you add into it that the FAA and the Air Traffic Controllers Union cannot agree on anything. And so they are working without a contract for something like 10 years.
The morale and sort of anger is
the resentment
palpable.
Is terrible. The working conditions are horrendous. You're working. I mean, there was a phone hanging on the wall.
The black-red phone. Explain this. Explain this. It was a black phone that said it was the red.
I think it was, or else it was the reverse.
Okay.
It had a. Go ahead.
It was okay. So maybe it was a red phone, but it had written on it. Somebody taped on it that it was the
black phone.
Even though this is red, guys, this is the black phone.
And I'm like, what's the sign for? And they're like, oh yeah, that's the red black phone. I said, well, what is it, red or black? Well, it's actually the black phone, but it used to be black, but we lost the black one, and they wouldn't give us another one, so we had to use the red one. But it's the black phone because the black phone is the one that contacts, the fire department or something.
Yeah,
in case of emergency. So you don't want to pick that up unless, by mistake. So you have to know it's the black phone.
Yeah, it has to be the black phone, even though it's red. But okay, so this is
the whole place was like that.
The whole place is held together by chewing gum and string. and listen, the thing that freaked me out is the strips.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, wouldn't you think air traffic control, they're dealing with the most extraordinary technology now, right? Right?
High tech, right.
Oh, my God.
No. It was analog, put it that way.
Well, it was analog.
Well, okay, they had computers, don't get me wrong.
They wanted the analog. It was more trustworthy to them.
The computers they did not trust. They were not working because they were never synced. Because their argument was, the government kept buying these different systems, and every different system came with its own monitor and its own, like one was an Apple, one was a PC, one was a, Unix, something. All these different systems with all these different monitors. And nothing was integrated. So they were like, we'll go back to the strips. And the strips are, these like Scrabble board, where the letter holders.
Yeah.
Like them. And they had little pieces of paper that would slide in and out of the strip. And then they had a bucket that was like a bucket from, spackling from when they fixed something. When the strip was empty, you threw it in this bucket, or else you picked up
And
an
the
empty
strip would
one.
tell them where a plane was.
Right.
If it was at the gate, if it was taxiing, if it was...
Right.
And God! You read this and you think, oh, my God.
I know.
Oh, my God. How has there not been?
I know. And it's because of these people, because they are public servants. I mean, they saw their jobs.
These are
as
these
public
awful
servants.
government workers. That's who these are. These are these horrible government workers.
Right.
And, in fact, they're
Oh.
being hired now at a rate $30,000 less than they used to get paid. And
Because they need them.
And because they were desperate. We need thousands and thousands of them. So where they used to have college degrees, we're taking, as you said, you could be working at the Piercing Pagoda one day and be an air traffic controller.
Right. You can come right into training. Come on, everybody who don't like your piercing job. You can be an air traffic controller. Yeah, they used to be rigorous, and now they still train rigorously.
But not as...
No, not
you said.
nearly what they used to. And that really, there's a generation gap where you've got these people like in their 50s who are going to have to retire. There's all these retirement rules. They're aging out. And there's a whole lump of them, and then there's a lump of nobody. And then there's the kids coming in from the Piercing Pagoda.
And the government, the FAA, has been aware of. I mean, they know this. No one's looking ahead. It's just unbelievable. And another unbelievable thing you say when you spent the time with the air traffic controllers is you say, I quote you from page 124, "This is not a job for thinkers."
Oh, no.
I'm thinking, this has to be a job for thinkers. You got to be so smart.
You have to be so smart, but you are working on reaction. You have to have it in your muscle memory. Plane landing, other plane taking off. You got to figure your.
So you can't be like you, as you said you were. Let's see.
No.
Now on
the opposite. You can't say, well, I can sort of see it this way.
But then
Let the American plane come in and the United hold. No, wait a minute. Let's hold the United and let the American.
split second gut.
Constant.
Jesus.
Yeah, really intense. I mean, they loved it. It was an adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
But the responsibility. And also you realize, again, that these are actual people with lives. You read the testimony of the air traffic controller who was talking down the plane that landed on the Hudson River.
Plane. He was the controller that was talking
on the
to
other side of the
Captain
line,
Sully.
telling him, go to Teterboro, no, go to Newark, no, here, I've cleared this, I've cleared that. And Sullenberger
kept saying, not able.
not able, and then it cuts off.
And he thought the plane had gone down.
He was sure the plane had gone down. And then, so it's like, what is that man, that guy in particular, what is that life like? And so I kind of zero in right there and just to personalize these jobs that we're dependent on.
And as what I guess they're fond of saying, and who can blame them? A brain surgeon might save.
They love that. Yeah.
Might save 2 lives a day?
Yeah. What do you got? Brain surgeon 2 lives a day. We're saving 10,000 an hour. Yeah, they were proud. They were proud of what they did, and my God, they should be. I was in awe of those people.
I want to talk about the thing about this book that I want to make clear to everybody is the personalities of these people. We haven't gotten personal with any specific one yet. These people come totally alive. So rather than thinking about a migrant worker as an abstraction, you meet a migrant worker, you meet his children. They're absolutely comprehensible and real.
Some of them are lovable, some of them are weird, some of them, some of them are tortured and tormented, and they're people. They're people with lives.
Okay, speaking of weird, tortured, and tormented, it seemed to me the most people that it seemed would fall into that category were on the Alaskan oil rig. I don't know if you would agree with that, but I mean, those working conditions are bizarre.
Yes.
And
that was the most extreme, I would say, working outside of the coal mine, which was pretty extreme. But this was maybe one notch beyond, simply because you're there for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sometimes months at a time, up on the Arctic Sea on an island. You can't even tell it's an island because it's all frozen, but it's an island. In the temperature was minus 45 when I got there. And you are living there for months and months on the ice, walking outside to the oil rig and drilling oil. Those conditions, I have nothing to compare it to other than I suppose this is what the moon looks like. There is nothing recognizable in that landscape.
And it was dark.
It was dark, yeah. When I was there, it's February. The sun does not come up.
How do you not get depressed in this?
Well, I mean, that was part of it for these people.
That's what I'm saying.
Not going crazy.
But when as you get to meet them, I mean, my gosh, a lot of them were, former drug abusers. They were in prison. Right. And they're making a ton of money. Tons of money.
And they have no idea, many of them, the young guys, Turtle was a good example, no idea how to spend it, what to do with all this money.
This is a kid who was making what? He was not, I think he was right out of high school. And he was at the bottom. He was like the janitor, and he was making something like $80,000 or something.
About $80,000 a year.
And he was buying motorcycles left and right, and he didn't have a clue what to do.
And so what was lovely there was that the older guys who had been on the rig for a long time really tried to teach these younger guys, look, because they'd all been through that exact same experience. I blew all my money on alcohol and motorcycles for 12 years, and then it took me 12 years to dig out of debt. So here's what you should do, Turtle. And Turtle saying, yeah, I'm going to save this money. I'm not going to buy, my Harley. And trying to teach them to take a different path became a lot of the conversation that was going on.
Tell us a little bit about the guy who headed the rig, who's like this. I kept imagining him like as in a movie and who he was, and he was such an amazing character, and with an amazing name. His name was Two Dogs.
That was his rig name. Most people had rig names. His was Two Dogs, and he was sort of the father of the rig.
Yeah,
he was in his 50s. He had been through not just that sort of Turtle version of a rough youth, but way worse. Way worse at the bottom of any kind of heroin addiction that you can imagine at its worst, and had, really worked his way back to sobriety over many, many years, and was very proud of who he had become. And he was such a philosopher. I mean, his quotes were just so funny. He would say, out of nowhere, he'd just say, "You know what time is for?" I say, "No, Two Dogs, I really never even asked that. What's time for?" "Well, it's so everything doesn't happen all at once." Just stuff like that. Just stuff like that. You'd go, "Wow, all right." and then he would kind of continue on with, sort of like, why I need time because, or else my stuff gets really cluttered. When your stuff gets really cluttered in your head? And I do, I guess. I never really thought of it that way. And then he said, I don't know.
You need time to sort it out.
Sometimes I just think my give a shit spring's gonna bust. These ways of stating so many things that were, to me, I get it in my own life, but he just had such a lovely way of phrasing these things.
So most of these excursions and insertions that you engaged in were with groups of men.
I know.
Okay, so you're down there in the mines with these guys. You're on this island of ice with these guys. You're with the air traffic controller, guys. The migrants, guys.
A lot of women in that one.
No, there were women in that one.
Yeah,
right?
but a lot of
cowboys.
Cowboys, guys.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, how does that work from a journalist point of view? Because they've got to be thinking, geez, this girl. Yeah. I mean, come on. They send this girl. We got to take care of this girl. So how do you deal with that? And do you know? That is something to get past. It was something I had to get past time and time again, especially in the really sort of brawny industries where, they just weren't, coal miners. As you write about, the coal miners kept looking at you and saying, what the heck? Like you were an idiot. Yeah, it was bizarre. You would say things like, well, why don't you just make it a little taller so you could stand up?
were just like, if you keep saying stuff like that, we're going to kick you out. It enabled, I think, of a more playful relationship, I guess, because they didn't have the expectation. You can almost play up that dumb girl thing if you have to, but it was true in these industries. I was dumb. Wasn't necessarily because I was a girl, but no, I knew nothing about. I didn't understand why they couldn't make the roof higher in a coal mine. I mean, come on. I was like, there are people working down here. Make it so you can stand up. I mean, what's the problem?
Okay, well, give the answer.
Well, a coal seam is only as deep as a coal seam is. If you take out any higher, you're mining rock.
And what's the point of that?
Or you're going to collapse.
Collapse it, right.
And if you dig any lower, you're in water. So you've got to stay only the coal seam. This one, what we were in, was 5 feet high. So everybody worked.
You spend 8 hours...
Call it doing a duck walk.
Doing a duck walk.
But they said to me, look, some of the coal mines were 3 feet high. Some of them you crawl through. And they said a coal seam is a coal seam, honey. Of course it is now, I see, but...
Well, the thing that freaked you out, and I want you to explain this, and I was once in a coal mine, so I have some sense of this too. You said, it isn't the down that gets you. It's the in.
That freaked me right out.
Okay. So explain.
You always
Not
think,
the down, it's the in.
You say, okay, you're going to take an elevator 500 feet down into the earth. That's hard enough to even imagine.
Right.
But, okay, yes, I'm doing it. Everybody's doing it, so I'm doing it too. Right, fine. You do it. You go down 500 feet. Then then what? Oh, you get on a little train where you have to lay back on your back because the ceiling is so low, and you drive. Because you have to go mine the coal in the mine. You drive 45 minutes into the earth. Away from the elevator shaft that you went down. The in was hardest of anything.
Because you're just imagining yourself. You're just this...
There's no way out.
No, there's no way out.
I mean, at least if you're at the bottom of the elevator, you're thinking, well, at least...
It's a dead end. You're at a dead end and you're miles in.
Maybe there's some steps or something I could crawl up, but you're in. You are in. That was the freaky part. And then it kept going... in and in and in and in, because you think you're scooping coal. You're scooping coal. You're going deeper and deeper and deeper in.
In, not down.
Not down. So, yeah, that took some getting used to. But, you do it often enough, and you see these guys do it every single day for 10 hours a day. Who are you to complain?
And the fact that it's probably one of the more dangerous jobs that there is, they don't think about that, or they do?
They can't. I mean, you think about it for probably the first couple of days when you're first down there, but then
you gotta do your job.
If you're gonna, they say to me, even men, women, doesn't matter what age, it's your first day whether or not you're going to be able to do this psychologically. Some people go down, they think they can handle it, and they freak out, and they never can.
So what back. They can't handle is what the in and the dark and the claustrophobia and the cold and the
the claustrophobia, I would say particularly. They just can't handle it, so they freak out and they come back up. They never go in again. Mm-hmm. There is certainly that story you would hear over and over again, and then there were the rest that adapted. So you were one type or the other. And I was surprisingly able to adapt, but it could just be because I knew I wasn't stuck there.
That's right.
I was going to come out.
Right.
I was there for months, but essentially I was a tourist. And that is a very different experience, and I can never know about any of these jobs as a worker point of view, and I was always really sensitive to that notion. I can romanticize it too easily.
Because you're not really here.
I'm leaving, leaving. So I don't want to make it sound like I really know that life. I can report it and try and get as close to the bone as I can, but I can never know it. And that is the limitation of anybody who's recording anybody else's life.
You stay in touch with these people?
Oh, yes. Foot is, hopefully, I'm hoping that he's going to come to the launch party on Thursday.
So they had these names, too, all these...
Yeah. A coal miner named Foot. It was his minor name because his feet were size 14. So everybody, his first day he went down, they're like, wow, you got big feet, you son of a bitch.
Well, so my guess is he's a tall man, too.
Huge.
So, and he's down there huge. He'd be like a Steeler, Foot.
Yeah, Foot.
So you're
Great
doing
guy.
a reading at Barnes & Noble on...
We're having a launch party on Thursday at the Barnes & Noble, Thursday at 7 at the Barnes & Noble in...
At the Waterfront.
At the Waterfront in Homestead.
Yeah.
And Sputter, the trucker from the book, is coming to be my special guest, and I'll introduce her, and she'll say some words about trucking. And Foot is supposed to come as well. We're working on that. So that's what makes it really fun, the characters.
Indeed. It's what makes it really fun. The book is Hidden America. Available at all? I mean, you say is it out there already or
Thursday
not?
it launches. So you pre-order online, but
Yeah.
the book is available starting Thursday is the launch
Hidden
date.
America, and guys, it's just getting rave reviews. You're being called how can I Studs Terkel.
No, yeah. Well, I love
Well,
him.
because
Yeah.
his working is
working
like,
stories, yeah.
Yeah, is like this, and
It's a high compliment.
yeah, essential reading. USA Today has it on its list of must read books for the fall, and I'm telling you, it is wondrous. We're gonna take a break and come back, and I want to talk more with Jeanne Marie Laskas. Hidden America.
Stick around for more with Lynn Cullen live after this.
Go to birdbargains.com for great deals on tickets to the Science Center, the History Museum, Carnegie Museums, and some of the best restaurants in Pittsburgh. This week, get 50% off tickets to the Pittsburgh Irish Festival. Birdbargains.com. Local deals, local merchants. Birdbargains.com.
Okay, we got to get more readers out there so they can buy Jeanne Marie's books. And, there are people who can't read. Can you imagine? I mean, I spend most of my life reading. That's what I do. The thought of not being able to read, of all those doors closed off, I can't even conceive. That's claustrophobia to me. The Greater Pittsburgh Literacy Council needs volunteers. They will train you to teach one-on-one. And the people that are on a waiting list now who want to read are highly motivated. These are not people who, been forced to, you go and learn how to read. No, they're begging. I want to read. Literacy Council will train you to teach them this incredible gift. Okay? So give them a call. Do it. Tom Sokolowski was sitting here and he got all, I got to do that. He took down the phone number and he's going for training already. Here's the phone number, 412-393-7600, 393-7600, or, of course, on the web at gplc.org. That'd be Greater Pittsburgh Literacy Council.org. Challenge yourself.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we've got a range of pep talkers standing by. Call 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or visit yourged.org and find free classes in your area. GED is a registered trademark of the American Council on Education, brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen live at pghcitypaper.com.
Okay. We're on!
Jeanne Marie Laskas.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Well, so here's a question I have. You're the mother of two beautiful, adorable children. How can you spend 2 months in a coal mine? What do you mean? So you got... How do you do that?
Well, the coal mine was doable because it was only an hour and a half from my house.
So
I could go back and forth on that one.
Okay.
These other ones,
The rig, you couldn't.
No.
You were stuck.
Yeah. So what I like to do is do 2 or 3 trips. That one I did 3, where I go for an introductory trip, meet people, kind of get my bearings, come home, think about it, research, go back for a much longer stretch. Mm-hmm. About 2 weeks. I wanted to do a whole rig, shift, and then that's the bulk of the research, and then I'll do one.
Do you ever feel
more.
trapped when you're in these situations? Because a lot of this it has to be uncomfortable, and I'm not just talking physically. Uncomfortable.
Yeah. You have to be okay with that. I mean, I am in general. I mean,
What? Okay with discomfort or being with people you don't really know?
No,
but
it's weird that I'm okay with being people that I don't know, because I am really you know this. I'm shy. It's really hard for me, especially at first. I just want to sit in the corner and it's hard. That part's hard. Getting to know people, I always just want to curl up and cry. But once I can get over that barrier, and you start getting to know people, then I'm good. The living condition part is so secondary. I mean, I can, a lot of it is like camping. Certainly on the rig, it was camping times 1,000.
I gotta interrupt you there. Mm-hmm. To get to your room on the rig, you had to go outside and understand that, as you said, you take one breath in and you feel like it
feels like it's crystallizing or something.
Yeah, like you're going to die. So you had to go outside and then through a cage.
Polar bear cage.
A polar bear cage. And as someone quite understandably said, why would you keep...
No, I said, why do you put the polar bears in cages? And they said, no, the polar bears are for the people.
The cages are for the people.
The cages are for the people. If you see
if you see a polar bear, you jump into one of the cages and slam the door shut.
And blow a horn.
So, okay. So
yeah, I have to go through that.
You have to go out into this unbelievable cold. Through the polar bear cage, which of course only reminds you that there are carnivorous animals out there that might want
Then you have to go in. No, you have to go in the polar bear cage and out the other side of the polar bear cage.
Okay, then you have to go out it. That's just part of the way. And then you get to a little holding, a door that says 302 or something, whatever your door was.
It was kind of like a train car.
A train car.
With a refrigerator door.
Okay.
So you open the refrigerator door.
And there's your place.
Right, that's my room.
And that's your room.
And there was no bathroom. You had to get to the bathroom. You had to come back out.
Go back through the cage. Oh, my God.
Yeah. That part was really bad.
Oh, dear God.
So once you were in there, you were really committed to okay, I'm in here. And I asked for a radio. Well, no, I suggested keep this radio in case anything happens, like a
two-way radio.
Yeah,
you're saying.
Because there's this thing called a blow, which is like a blizzard, and the snow could pile up over top of your door, and you couldn't get out.
You couldn't get out.
So you just but to them it was like, just keep this. Let us know if you can't get out. Just call us. We'll come take you out. I'm like, okay, no problem. Yeah, that was certainly the most extreme.
God, wow. Okay, I got a million little notes. I initially wasn't taking notes, and then I thought, I'm going to forget this stuff. I remember having dinner with you here when you were in the middle, must have been one of your trips back, when you were in the middle of your stint in Yuma, Arizona. Mm-hmm. And you regaled us with this funny funny of coming back to Pittsburgh with your assault rifle. Because you were out in Yuma, you were working at you did some of.
I was a clerk at a gun store, selling and buying guns.
Yeah, and it's a big gun store.
Big. Yeah, huge. Lots of assault rifle. Well, okay, they're not called assault rifles.
And they told you time and time again, there's no such thing as an assault rifle.
Right.
What are they called?
Modern sporting rifles. Oh, I got in trouble online. There's a lot of people yelling at me because I kept saying assault rifle because to the in the vernacular.
So an AK-47 or an Uzi, we would say is an assault rifle.
Well, you would. You look at it, it doesn't look like it's for
hunting
to me. No. But no, it's not for hunting. You don't need. Nobody needs that to hunt unless you're hunting elephant or something. No.
Okay. So you were hanging there, and I remember it seemed to me you were still a little. I mean, this was a real immersion in a culture that was foreign to you.
Yes, it was.
Even though you live out there in the country in Washington County, where
hunters
I'm sure
everywhere.
There's hunters everywhere. Mm-hmm. But
so it wasn't outlandish to me the idea of owning a gun.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't preposterous to me.
But that's not why these people were wanting guns.
Well, no, most of them. By far, it was self-protection. By far,
and they really believed they needed it.
Oh. Not only did they believe they needed it, no, it was like, what is the matter with you that you don't have a gun? It was very, very, very separate kind of culture from what I have grown up in. And, again, I'm trying not to judge it. I'm trying to understand it. I'm trying to get into that mindset. For example, when I say, so what was it like around here on the day of the Tucson shootings? When Gabby Gifford died. was shot. Thinking to myself, that's going to be a really touchy question. They're going to be embarrassed because, they sell guns, and this is a bad guy or a crazy guy got a gun. I'm thinking this is a touchy question to ask. So I finally get the nerve to ask it. And they said the answer was surprising to me because it was, oh, yeah, this place was crowded that day. The lines were out the door trying to buy that Glock, the same Glock that
Jared Loughner used.
Yeah, I don't say his name because it's like I don't want to give him publicity. But, the crazy people. They wanted to buy
Said their business went up
gun.
60%.
Yeah. And if you look at the stats.
So that's good for business when there's a massacre like that.
Very good for business, although they weren't bragging like that. Their point was, of course, get your guns now before the government takes them away. You better get them now. That's just going to give one more reason why the government will take them away. That was a constant theme and a constant concern.
Okay, so when that happens, they're afraid that the reaction will be, we got to take everybody's guns. So when one of these massacres happen, all the gun nuts race to the stores and buy even more.
And they're not necessarily gun nuts, but they are people who want to own guns, yes. That is what they do. And they'll tell you that, of course. That's
and
what
you
we do.
like these people. I mean, this is what I'm saying.
Very much so.
Salt of the earth, great people.
Very much so. And I, even while I was there thinking about people like you, thinking, now, how am I ever going to translate this to people like Lynn Cullen or people like I used to be? How can I translate?
Well, I think you do it well because when I read that, it did. I began to understand that culture. And they talk about the fact that it was the Wild West, right?
Right.
There's a culture there.
Right.
Where you did have a gun and you needed one.
You couldn't depend on the sheriff to ride his horse 60 miles to your cabin.
Protection was all about self-protection. You didn't rely on the government to protect you. So here's where the rugged individual, you do it yourself. That culture is strong there. And
in America.
Yeah, but that also feeds into protect yourself.
Right. The line that kept getting me was that whenever I did not go there to discuss the Second Amendment, I promise you, but it was unavoidable. But the thing that kept getting,
because they kept telling you that was your answer.
Well, they kept saying the people who don't understand, what's the matter with those liberals? They're so stupid and so crazy. And I would say that is so funny because that's what the liberals said about you.
That's right.
Everybody thinks everybody else is stupid and crazy on the other, and they really do think we're stupid.
I know.
And we really do think they're stupid.
But that's very eye-opening.
It was.
It is, and anybody who has a capacity for to step away from your, comfort zone and try to empathetically, wind up in somebody else's shoes. I think you brilliantly did that with that section.
Well, I bought an assault rifle and brought it home.
Oh, please tell a story about the Avis. Come on.
Oh, that was so embarrassing.
What do you mean? That is so funny.
How do you
travel with an assault rifle?
Which you're allowed to do. You are allowed. Not a handgun. That's a whole other story. But
with your assault rifle, you had your Glock shipped. It had to be shipped.
Yeah, that had to be shipped. Yeah, to Pennsylvania.
But your whatever this thing was.
My Smith & Wesson big, awful-looking thing I could take anywhere I wanted. So I got a case at the store, a big gun case that was huge to fit it in, padded. And I put it in the back of the car. And it was so long, it hardly fit in the back seat of the car. But okay, it did. So I drove from Yuma to Phoenix. And I pulled up, to the Avis return your car place. And I'm pulling this case out of the car, and the guy is the Avis man, he was kind of
shocked.
And it popped out of my mouth, apologetically, I say, it's a saxophone. And I'm like, why in the world did I just say that? First of all, I'm embarrassed that I'm carrying this big rifle. I don't want him to know, and I have to think what it might look like, and I decided it's a saxophone. I was like, okay. And he just, whatever. He's like, whatever, lady. But then you have to go to the U.S. Air counter.
Yeah, and say.
Well, they had prompted me at the gun store. They said, here is what you say. You have to report it. I am traveling with
a saxophone.
With a firearm. And you just say, I am okay, I say firearm, right? Yes, say firearm. Okay, and I say, what if they say, why do you have a firearm? What do I say? And they told me, you say it's your Second Amendment right.
That's right. You don't have to answer that question.
And I said, I am not going to say that. That is just not something that's going to come out of my mouth. Give me something else. Okay. They said, you okay? You say it's for recreation. I said, got it. I'm traveling. So I go up to the U.S. Air Canada. I'm traveling with a firearm. It's for recreation. Like that. I just said it right like that.
It is not a saxophone.
So they open the case, and you gotta. Yep, that's my weapon.
So where is that thing now?
Well, actually, we have a gun case that Alex, my husband, bought because it was so beautiful. He thought it was like one of those old beautiful things, and so now we're like, oh, we could put this in there until I figure out what the heck to do with it.
Okay, so you still have it.
Yeah, but I don't have bullets. There's no way you can even use it. But it's in a safe.
But then you found yourself walking around with the Glock in your purse.
Well, I wanted to try that. If the theory is...
So you are licensed
Oh, yeah, that was easy.
You can carry a concealed weapon in Pennsylvania, and it was totally easy.
So can
no
you
problem.
in 20 minutes. Time to Xerox your license, you could get your concealed carry license. And I did. And so I have it. I don't think I have it with me, but I have it.
What do you mean you don't think you have it
Well,
with
I
you?
don't carry. I tried it. I tried carrying the Glock in my purse.
And did you feel safer? Or did you?
I felt so terrified because, first of all, I'm not that responsible to not lose my purse, and that was really driving me crazy.
Yeah.
You can't just leave your purse like for your kids to watch at the pool. You just can't. You have to be with that purse at all times.
That's right.
But then more to the point, what I realized was if in order for me to be a responsible gun owner, I have to practice with this thing. You have to know how to use it. You can't decide to figure it out when the bad guy is coming at you and say, oh, wait a minute. That's right. I have a Glock in my purse. So you were so wait here. I'll figure out how to get that safety switch off and put the rounds in. I think this is how you do it. Wait, you got to click it. You have to have it in your muscle memory. You have to have it right here. Boom, 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 boom.
That's right.
Or else it's first of all either useless, but more to the point,
more dangerous to you.
Extremely dangerous to you and to other people around you. So
you don't think they didn't win you over in terms of thinking that if everybody has a gun, we'll all be safer?
I didn't know. Well, I could say for me personally, I am not safer because I'm not willing to put into the time that I would need to put in to be a responsible gun owner. I do not have time to go to the range and do this.
Although when you did go to the range, because you did get into it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's fun.
Oh, God. Yeah, you're calling for more bullets.
Oh.
More bullets!
Shooting the eyes out of the zombie target. It's great. It's a sport. I get the sport part. I totally get the sport. I even said to somebody, if this weren't about killing people, I could really get into this.
I could get into this. Yeah.
But it's the killing people part. It just sort of stops.
Well, when the target looks like a human being, how do you get away from the fact that that's what it's about? I don't know. I don't get it.
You're not going to.
So I'm at the Cowboys now. she's on a cattle breeder, Texas. I once saw a guy stick his arm.
Really? Is that where we're going? Okay.
Yes, that's where we're going. Sticking his arm. Well, the only other thing I want to say about that is in the first sentence of the Texas Ranch, the breeding cattle cowboy chapter, here's a direct quote from your book. Stunning scrotal circumference.
That's a
Would you explain what you were talking? A stunning scrotal circumference, meaning big balls?
Well, not by my reckoning. I don't really. It was a bull.
It's a bull, right?
The bull, the way that that is a way a cowboy would describe a bull, and they did. The bull's name was Revelation, and he had just like stunning scrotal circumference. And they'd measure these things. I mean, they have statistics that show you why one is better than the other, and his was just we're off the charts.
So even though there's this really cowboys, just like there used to be cowboys, they're outfitted like cowboys, they're on their horses, they're doing the cowboy stuff. there's also computers and stunning scroll circumferences and sticking your arms up, inseminating the cows. The one thing I didn't understand about when they were doing that is I got the impression that this guy had both arms up.
Yeah, oh, sure.
Jeez! I didn't see... Because when I saw it happen, it was one all the way to the shoulder. Right. You're inside that cow all the way to the shoulder. But you're saying that they have both arms up there?
Well, it depends on what they're trying to do.
Okay.
But sure, they would.
Okay.
They're in that case, they'd be inseminating a cow. And
that's right.
They're bringing in a...
I think that's what this guy was doing. But
well, I mean, maybe some people can do it one-armed, but some people do it two-armed. You've got, well... That was not the only thing I wrote It's dramatic. It is dramatic. But, this is all in an effort to give you your perfect steak on your plate.
It's amazing.
It is a high-tech...
They use ultrasounds to, there's a living steer there, and there's an ultrasound guy, and he's actually looking at
the ribeye.
Wow,
look at the marbling on that
steak. Look at the marbling. Mm-hmm. Look at this. I mean,
right there. I mean, it comes up in a picture, and it looks like a steak. And there's this cow. You can see the steak. I mean, there's nothing that brings it more home.
So this whole book, you read your book, and you're sitting there, and you're chastened. Here are all these people that are feeding our insatiable appetites, and we never even think about them. And that's consequently the title, Hidden America. Can I dump my last break? No. I got to take a break real fast. I'll take a break real fast. We'll be right back.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
Future of the plastic surgery world is all about non-invasive procedures. Leading the way into the future is the Sewickley Med Spa. Do you suffer from turkey neck, droopy belly, sagging skin, or wrinkles? Well, it's time to say goodbye to these problems. Sewickley Med Spa has a new revolutionary pain-free procedure that plumps up collagen fibers to get rid of droopy, flabby skin. Call 412-259-8628 for a free consultation to see if you qualify as a candidate for this new age-reversing procedure. You'll experience immediate results after just one treatment. This procedure has been seen on news reports and in cosmetic magazines. A European secret is now at Sewickley Med Spa, the first and only credited location in the Pittsburgh area. Again, for your free consultation, call 412-259-8628. Look and feel your best by taking advantage of this clinically proven non-invasive pain-free procedure. Sewickley Med Spa, Broad Street in Sewickley.
Pittsburgh City Paper is now available on your smartphone. Go to citypapermobile.com to read this week's digital issue or search for restaurants, bars, concerts, events, and movies on any portable device. Plus blog, Lynn Cullen, City Guide, CPTV, and Best of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh City Paper available at over 1,700 locations throughout Western Pennsylvania and on the web at pghcitypaper.com and on your smartphone at citypapermobile.com.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn at pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
Okay, Ansel, you've embarrassed me. Ansel says I have not mentioned my guest's name or her book for the last 30 minutes.
We're having fun.
That's right. It's Jeanne Marie Laskas, Laskas. The book is Hidden America, and it's a doozy. And there's a big book party launch at Barnes & Noble this Thursday at the Waterfront at 7 p.m. And some of the characters from the book, we hope, will be there. We know one for sure. And that's somebody we haven't talked about yet. That's Sputter. What a character. This is a black woman from Cleveland who's a
long-haul trucker.
And man, you can't put this one in any any of our little cubby holes where we like to imagine, okay, black woman, Cleveland, or whatever. I mean, she just defies all. She's just Sputter.
Loves trucking, which is so great because so many people don't in that world.
She loves her job.
Oh, my gosh. it was her goal in life to become a trucker. She did it, and she loves it, and she's at it. She loves her truck. She's got her life. It's a really wonderful way of looking at a culture from the perspective of someone who has chosen it. You know, she's not a victim in some circumstances. She has chosen this. And to me, this trucking world was like, this is a world where we literally are part of every day when we're on literally in real world terms.
You're
on the
cursing
road.
those truckers on the road.
Well, yeah, we're on the road, and we're down here.
Out of here. Yeah,
and they're
right.
up here.
Yeah.
And there is like a parallel universe right on top of us.
Yeah.
And we are in our little world, and we don't even think about what's going on up there other than that's annoying. You know,
they're in our way.
Just
They're
in our
big
way.
and in our way.
But they have a whole world going on there, and we're kind of in their way, actually.
Indeed.
Yeah. And if we didn't have them bringing our goods, you hear Sputter talk about that, the world would stop.
Well, you
Truckers
just start
just
listing
stopped.
the things that she's carried in her truck. It's everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And she loves the fact that she's bringing parts of things to different factories so that, you know, a car gets assembled because of her.
Right. She's bringing, you know, a truckload of mufflers, a truckload
And
of
she's
fenders.
very aware of this. It's just...
She feels a part of America because she does this.
You know what? You know what
Totally.
she could say, just getting political for a minute? I built this. Really?
Yes.
I built this. See all this? None of it would happen without me.
That's true.
Which is what any of these people that you hung with could, in fact, say. Mm-hmm. Sputter. So Sputter's coming to the...
She's coming to the book party on Thursday. Mm-hmm. And she'll talk about her truck. I don't think she's allowed to bring the truck, though, because you can't bring them into... You got to park them out in truck stops, you know, so...
That's okay if she doesn't bring the
I
truck.
know, it's so cool to get
But
inside
you love that
and
truck.
see
You
it.
love that
It's
truck.
fun. There's a bed in the back. It's
You
like
sleep well in that truck.
Oh, I love it. It's like a cradle. You know, yeah. It was lovely, oddly enough, but that was a lovely experience.
I'm just okay. I forgot to say this one thing because it so blew me away with the gun people. You had just bought your little something or other, and some customer walks in and says, "Oh, you get that? Is that your first gun?" And you say, "Yeah."
You said it was. Oh, that was a good one.
That's a good one. He said,
Thanks.
I got that for my
son.
son. And you look at him because he's a young guy, and you say,
I said, "How old's your son?" 6. That was surprising.
6. And he bought his 6-year-old this
Assault rifle, so that you can have 2
an
reactions.
assault rifle.
Well, it was okay.
There's no such thing as an assault rifle.
You can have 2 reactions to that. One is, holy crap.
Yeah.
And the other is, oh, wow, I really got a weenie assault rifle. They got 6-year-olds.
I know, yeah, you felt it was like a put down. Hey, I was feeling all big with my saxophone assault rifle, and now this guy tells me that his 6-year-old's got it.
There's 2 ways you can go with that.
But the essence of the book, I think you had this you had this thought many times in the course of all these adventures, but you say, I think you're on the oil rig here, you said, I wondered how we can be so disconnected from the people we are so connected to.
Mm-hmm. Don't you think, though, there was a time in America
when we were
connected?
Yeah. Those were simpler days.
Well, I think in pre-industrial
That's
America,
right.
where
That's
you
right.
had, you know,
That is
Uncle
right.
Harry had the cows down the street, and
That's right.
you knew where your milk came from.
Right.
It was Uncle Harry or Aunt Bertha,
Right.
you know, and you knew where your eggs came from, and you knew even where your coal came from. In some cases, you were digging it up yourself. So, you know, we were very connected intimately to the raw materials of our lives.
And I think when you're more connected like that, you don't waste as much.
I think there's 2 things for me personally as a result of all of this. Maybe I don't waste as much, but at a minimum, I feel more a part of America than I ever did. I feel more a part of the whole picture. You know, it's like you take a kid who doesn't help make the meal at dinner, who just gets served every single night. Here it is, honey. You know, that kid just expects to be fed. It becomes a right. Where is my dinner? You take that same kid, involve them in the process. chop the cucumbers, chop the lettuce, set the table, help with the dishes. That kid then becomes a part of the meal, a part of a community, which he would not have been otherwise. It's had that sort of experience for me. Okay? I'm part of this larger community.
Oh God, we're over time, but I have to ask you then. So we're in the midst of this political period, and we hear about the divisions in America, and it seems like many of the people you were hanging with are probably like what we'd think of as red state or the 99 or whatever. What sense do you have of is the idea, the picture that we all carry around of this country and the working people in it, did it jive with your experience?
No, a lot did not.
It did not?
What I found disturbing was these people kept hearing, and I kept hearing when I was with them, the politicians say, and here's what our workers want. Here's what Americans are thinking. And they got so sick of that. It's like, wait a second. Why does everybody think they know what we want and what we're thinking? Why is no one instead just asking us? And we'll tell you. We'll tell everybody. It was the idea of being listened to, which really frustrated them that they hadn't been. And one of the themes I heard a lot was they felt, especially say auto workers, okay, stop messing with us. Stop toying with us. Stop teasing us. You're telling us all these jobs are coming back. And we come back and we hear it in the news and we're excited. The factory's reopening. And then we get there. And in fact, it's the robots are working our jobs. In the news media, it's like, yay, jobs in Buffalo, stamping plant. It doesn't employ anybody. And that is like, what are you doing? Tell us the truth. Are we going to be a manufacturing base? Are we going to have a manufacturing base in America anymore? Or are we not? Should we move on? Just give us the story. That was kind of the theme I heard. They felt toyed with. That was frustrating.
Great book.
Great
Great book. Hidden America. Man, wow. Jeanne Marie Laskas, the author. Party! Thursday, 7 p.m., Barnes & Noble, Waterfront, and Sputter's going to be there.
Special guest.
You're making her into a star. She
is a star.
She's going to get a profile in the New York Times. Uh-huh. Because of you?
She's a star. She should be. Everybody should know Sputter.
Sputter, who, by the way, if you ever happen to think you saw a big rig on a Ohio night blowing by you with a naked black woman at the... That was Sputter.
She's just trying to stay awake.
You gotta love it. Thank you, Jeanne Marie.
Thank you,
All
Lynn Cullen.
right, I love it. Okay, have a great day, you guys.
God, you're good.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.